Sup guys, welcome to another tutorial. Today I'm going to continue our inventory tutorial. So today, as I said in the last video, I am going to show you how to create the actual item actors that we're going to place in our level. And I'm going to show you how to store data, so the name, like what type of item it is, etc. And I'm going to show you a way that I actually use in my own personal projects. This is the best way that I found. It's very easy, but it's very powerful. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It's pretty easy. So just going to your blueprints folder, the first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new folder for items. And I'm just going to right click, create a new blueprint class. And I'm going to create a new actor, and I'm just going to call this master item. And I'm going to double click that open. We are not going to actually, I'm gonna go there right away, and I'm gonna add a new static mesh component, and I'm gonna call this, I guess I can call it the item mesh. And I'm also gonna drag a new box collision. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna need that, so let's just drag into the root the item mesh. I'm just gonna make sure that in the collision we have a block all. So compile and save. And leave that open because we're going to need it again. And the thing that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to right click, go into blueprints, and create something called a structure. So I'm just going to call this S for structure and call this item details. So for the ones that don't know, a structure in Unreal basically is a list where you can store variables. For example, I have 5 variables here, and I can make it of any type I want. So basically, these what we will use to store a lot of variables, and like inside our own blueprint, we're just gonna have one variable. So I'm gonna go into our master item, and I'm going to create a new variable, and I'm gonna call this the details. So this is going to be the details of this item, and I'm gonna make this of the type item details. And just to show you really quick, over here in the default value, you can see that inside this variable is all of these variables that we have in our structure. So this is a very powerful way to store a lot of data in just one variable that holds a lot of variables. You can have, I don't know how many, but you can have like dozens of them. It's really good. So I'm just going to delete these. I'm going to create them again. So I'm going to compile this and save, and in the item details we're going to need a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to go and set up a name, and I'm going to make this a string. So I'm just gonna make it a default called item name. I think I'm gonna make like a weight system. So I'm gonna create a new variable, and I'm gonna call this item weight. I'm just gonna make it weight, and we're gonna want this to be a float. Another thing that we're gonna need is we're gonna need to have our type here. But the very good way to make a type is creating another type of this helper, little blueprints. Right click, go into blueprints, and now create an enumeration. So E for enumeration underscore item type. And what an enumeration is, like an item detail, is kind of a blueprint that you can store into a variable that holds. This will work as an enum inside the of a blueprint. I'm going to show you how to use that in a minute. And you create all the types that you want. You can create a lot of them, so as in the structure. But the type of items that we want is the ones that we have in our inventory, which is weapons and consumables. So I'm just going to go make it weapons, create another one, and make that consumables. So this is everything that we're going to need. And as you can close this up, and as a way to show you, I'm just going to go and quickly hop into the master item, go into the event graph, and I'm just going to, I think I can show you really quick. I'm just going to create a variable, not give it a name. I'm just going to make this of the type item type, and you can see over here in the enums you got item type. And if you drag this into your blueprint, you can see if you do, for example, a switch, you now have information to you. So imagine that we are getting this information from your details, and for example, if this is a weapon, you're gonna want, for example, to equip it, and if it's a consumable, you want, for example, to add health to your player. So this is a very good way to do different things. So like add the difference to the same blueprint. So everything is going to be of the type master item, and with this you can distinguish which one are weapons and consumables. Of course, for this you could just use a boolean, but if you have a lot of types, an enum is much better. So you can just go ahead and delete this variable. It was just to explain to you. So go back into the item details, create a new variable, make this and call its type, and make sure this is of the type, so item type. Over here again in the items, there you go. And I think I'm gonna need a new variable, and I'm just gonna call this the class. The class is basically going to hold the, so like which type of master item it is. So I'm just gonna make sure this is of the type master item, but don't make it a reference. We want to make this of, so a class reference. And basically you'll be able to choose the items from the list, and you're gonna see how everything is, how do you use this to actually create an item, and I'll show you that in a minute. And I think this might be everything we want to use for now. If you want anything else later, we can just go over here and add it to the list. So you can go ahead and close that. Going into the master item, you're not going to do anything else over here. We can close the master item. We just need to go over here into our master item, right click, create child blueprint class, and I'm just going to call this, an apple. So I'm going to drag this into our items folder. Now we want to make sure we have, we set up the information for this apple. So if we go into our class defaults, you're going to have over here the details. So this is that blueprint, that variable we created in our master item. You can use it and set up its information over here. So that the name is going to be an apple. The weight, I'm just going to say is, 0.2. That's actually too much, but it doesn't matter. The type, we can make it, we have to make it a consumable, because you eat an apple and it disappears. And the class, we are going to make it of itself, so an apple. So basically, this everything you have to do to create a new class, to create a new item. You just go over here, right click to your master item, create a new child blueprint, give it a name, go inside it, and make sure you do this. This information, and this is everything you need to do to create a new item. Now you just need to go into the item mesh and give it a mesh. Because it's an apple, I'm just going to make it a sphere, and I'm probably going to need to scale it down to 0.2. Let's just drag this into the level to see how it looks. And yeah, I think that's fine. So we're just going to have this little apple over here in the ground. Now, how do we know and how do we add it into our inventory? Because today I'm kind of in a hurry and I need to upload fast, I think I'm going to leave this for this video. So this is going to be very easy from now on. We're just going to go into our first person character. We are going to basically, check if we are aiming at something. If we press E or F, we're going to pick that up and add it to our inventory. And then we'll make sure we, add the information and add the item to our list over here. But that's things for other tutorials. I think I'm going to leave it for this one. If you guys have any doubts or you want to see, anything in particular with this inventory series, you can ask. And everything you have to do now is do the exact same thing I did and create new items if you want. I'm just going to use this apple as an example for future videos. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.